In order to talk about this topic, I need to give you a little bit of background history. 1996, that's the year I was born. I'm 28 years old. 1996, the original running of Dragon Ball Z ended. The ending with Oob and how Goku rode off with Oob, that was the ending of Dragon Ball Z. 1998, that is when the production of what was originally the Dragon Ball Z in America stopped. 2003 is when it stopped altogether. I was not in America yet. I was in Egypt. In 2004, I got here. And in 2004 to 2008, that 4-year span, I was raptured. I was graced by watching all of Dragon Ball Z. Didn't see Dragon Ball yet, just Dragon Ball Z. I started on the Ginyu arc, and then I was so encaptured by it that I went to my local library and I proceeded to see where Volume 1 started of Dragon Ball Z. I discovered Dragon Ball, I discovered the beginning of Goku, and it created this entire new story for me of the hero from another planet, not knowing his original origin, the weird boy with the tail, coming out the Ozaru, the great ape, and I discovered so much about it. I had this deep understanding and love of Dragon Ball Z. It made me feel amazing, it made me feel cathartic, and in 2008, it was over. There was nothing I could watch. I didn't have any DVDs. I didn't have anything like that. My dad refused to get DVDs. I didn't even know Dragon Ball Z was an anime. I had no idea that it was considered an anime. I thought it was a really good cartoon, and I was no longer able to see it. So, what was I to do? 2013, my brother messages me. He messages me over Facebook. He says, "Bro, I gotta show you something crazy." And it is an abridged of Dragon Ball Z. This reinvigorated my entire soul. Dragon Ball Z had not aired for quite some time. I had not watched it in some time. I had basically reading fan fiction, Dragon Ball AF, all this nonsense, and a very funny parody called Dragon Ball Abridged. Dragon Ball Z Abridged came out May 2013. I was over the moon. I was super excited to see this. It was crude. It was strange humor. It was the humor at the time, the 2012-2013 Les Memes era of humor. It was that era of humor, and it was great. It had a deep understanding of the core essence of what Dragon Ball Z was, and I was excited for the next episode, and so it came. Next episode came, next episode came. A bunch of inside jokes, and a bunch of people who never experienced Dragon Ball Z when it was running on Toonami, getting to experience and get to and fro, got to learn about Dragon Ball Z Abridged, and they went on to watch the original series and get more information because of how funny the parody was, despite the fact they knew nothing about it. Why am I bringing all this information up? Why am I giving you this fun, brief history lesson? I am now seeing to and fro everywhere. If you see on the screen right now, people are saying that Dragon Ball Z Abridged ruined Dragon Ball. I would like to argue that it saved Dragon Ball. Now, the reason I would like to argue that it saved Dragon Ball is because nobody was talking about it. The reason they're saying it ruined Dragon Ball is because people are taking Dragon Ball Z Abridged as the canon source material. They're saying that it is the best way to consume it. It's a good way to consume it if you know about Dragon Ball Z. It's a great way to consume it if you want to just rush through the series realistically, but it is not a substitute for the original series. The original series had fun humor, had great filler, it had a gravitas to it, a way that you can encapsulate. It didn't feel like anime, but it was anime, and it inspired every anime going forth. It was not overly sexualized. It was just this fun macho thing, such as Hokuto no Ken or Fist of the North Star, one might say. It was in that capacity of how beautiful it was, and that was the beauty of what I enjoyed and endured within Dragon Ball Z. Why is it being said right now that Dragon Ball Z Abridged is ruining Dragon Ball Z? It is not. Me! To truly make a parody of something, you have to have a core understanding of what the essence value is. For instance, if you are making a parody of this, Dragon Ball Z, you need to understand about Super Saiyan. You need to understand the thematic relevance. You need to understand the inside jokes about Piccolo being the true dad. You need to understand that Gohan actually chose to use Piccolo's fit. You gotta grasp that aspect as well. There are many things you need to understand. Let's move all this out the way. To make a parody of something, to make it amazing, to make it cultural, to make it a movement, you have to have this brief and deep understanding of every little core essence of it. And thus, that is what Dragon Ball Z Abridged did. It built upon the top essence of what it was. I discovered what the original androids' names were through Dragon Ball Z Abridged, Lapis and Lazuli. I discovered that through Dragon Ball Z Abridged. There were fun little lore beats within there. They somehow made Nappa a more prolific character. They brought back fun lore beats. They made Cell even more of Cell. They made Frieza hilarious. They made Goku, while still an idiot, smart. The perfect essence of Goku is that version of Goku in true retrospect. Goku is not an idiot, but in that they dial up his idiocy to a lunatic level. He reminds me of the Dragon Ball Super variation of Goku, where Goku is purely just an idiot, forgetting about image training and Dragon Ball Super and things like that. Sadly, they cannot continue to go on to the Buu saga. I believe it's be something of licensing issues or something that happened with Toei, but thankfully you can still watch all of Dragon Ball Z Abridged on YouTube right now. I can't say that for the original Dragon Ball Z. I can barely watch that anywhere. I have to get Crunchyroll or maybe Funimation. I'm not really sure where I could watch it. I do not know. I really don't know. Maybe I have to go through Toei. I don't know. But this is the easiest way I could consume it because I have residual knowledge of it. If I were starting the series with somebody new, I would not tell them to jump into an abridged version. I would tell them, hey, we can watch Dragon Ball Z. There's a lot to absorb and understand. Or maybe I'd make a PowerPoint and then show them the abridged. I don't think the abridged is ruining it. People are saying the abridged is ruining it because people are saying, oh, I'm going to react to watching Dragon Ball Z for the first time, but it's the abridged. I've never seen Dragon Ball Z. I'm just going to watch the abridged. Oh, the abridged made this joke better. The abridged made Tien better. I will say this. The most clips I see are never from the original show. It is always from the abridged. And some people think that that is the actual voice lines within the actual show. That is how good the abridged is. It is so good that some people are substituting it for it. That is an issue. You shouldn't substitute the original work. That's just an idiot move. That's psychotic. That's weird. That's insane. That's inane. The abridged is DLC. It is dessert to something we all enjoyed when we were younger. It is something we add on to it. But to say that these people who did this non-profit, they didn't make any money from Dragon Ball Z Abridged besides from merch sales. This was all non-profit. They couldn't monetize on it simply by the fact of the matter of it's owned by Toei and Funimation. In the beginning of every single episode, they had the same thing. Every single episode, please support the official release. They said that every single episode in the beginning. Please support the official release. It's all owned by Funimation, Toei Animation, and Akira Toriyama. That is what they said every single episode. And some people, for some odd reason, think that this is a substitute for the original work when they continually told you, please, we love Dragon Ball Z more than anything. Please go watch the original work. It is transformative content that is pure parody. It is to make it so we can enjoy and appreciate and make fun of a series and also love a series that we all appreciated. There's so many iconic moments. Cell singing My Way. The Super Saiyan speech. Raccoon, it has a... To me personally, the Raccoon in the abridged is better than the original Raccoon. That is how I feel. The name's Raccoon, and it rhymes with Doom. I like the showmanship of Raccoon elbow, Raccoon kick. It makes sense that he himself, Raccoon, is a wrestler, naming the moves after himself. Raccoon Ultra Fighting Bomber. That is amazing to me. The way they did that, the way they encapsulated that, the editing skills, the prowess. It is a labor of love within this show to do that. It is truly a labor of love. It didn't ruin Dragon Ball Z. It created a new medium in which to enjoy it. It enhanced it. It did what so many fan fictions fail to do. I've read so many Dragon Ball fan mangas. Dragon Ball Multiverse, Dragon Ball Kakume, and they always somehow fail to capture the essence of what Dragon Ball Z is. Dragon Ball Z Abridged, captured the essence. Team 4 Star somehow deeply understood what the assignment was, and they passed with flying colors. They themselves put onto Dragon Ball Z something that probably could never be done again. And they did the same thing with Hellsing too. The abridged team that works on the abridged of Team 4 Star, whoever are the writers, whoever are the directors, whoever are the people for doing that, they have a deep understanding of anime, of the source material. They spend time, effort. So many other parodies don't do that. I've seen Sword Art Online abridged that didn't do that. I've seen Death Note abridged. I've seen all these other abridged shows that are at the expense of a few jokes will destroy and disrupt the character. But with the abridged of Hellsing, the abridged of Dragon Ball Z, they deeply understood the source. And it is not an insult to do that. It is not ruining the entire essence of the core. People, for some reason, believe that Dragon Ball Z Abridged ruined the entirety of what Dragon Ball Z is. It created a new medium for fans to enjoy. It created a new way, a new route. Just because somebody enjoys a medium different than you doesn't mean they're not enjoying the medium. It's still the same medium. Still the same fight. Still the same fun. Still the same action. You're still basically getting the same core message too between both things, which is rare to say. Dragon Ball Z Abridged just has jokes significantly more. And I appreciate that. I'm not saying to consume the Abridged over the original. What I am saying is that the original was there. And Akira Toriyama, with everything that he gave us, almost gave up on his own series. I feel like he got tired of writing his own series and just wanted to make goofy nonsense. And he gave us goofy nonsense with the Buu arc, which is regarded as one of the worst arcs in Dragon Ball Z, despite the fact that I myself love it. And GT, which was not Dragon Ball Z, was nothing. And Super, which feels like garbage with so many narrative plot contrivances and not even caring about the source material in itself. There's so much to be said. There's so much to be unpacked there. But with Dragon Ball Z Abridged, it feels like fans that care about what the artist gave up on. It feels like they tried to pick up the pieces of what was already broken and try to mend the series of what it once was. They tried to explain time traveling better. They tried to explain things better. And I feel like they would have done amazing work. There's a scene in the Dragon Ball Z Abridged Buu bits in which I love the most. It is a scene in which Vegeta is sacrificing himself. It's a small scene. And there's this long-running joke in the Abridged where he says, "Hey, best buddy, what's up, Jeets?" And Goku always calls him best buddy. And to have the same narrative impact, to have the same emotional impact as when Vegeta gives up his own life to destroy Buu and says, "And even you, best buddy," and sacrifices himself. In that exact moment, Vegeta's sacrifice, I almost teared up because of how amazing it was. It's an expansion of characters to make a caricature of what their most insane traits are, to go above and beyond of what they once were. That is a masterclass in writing and satirical parodying. That is Dragon Ball Z Abridged. It did not ruin the source material. It created a way to enjoy it even deeper. I'm so sick of people saying it ruined the source material. It is strange. It didn't do that. It really didn't.